So hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Environmental Social Justice. Today we have Mr. Alessandro Gardemann, who is an expert in biogas. And so welcome to the show, Alessandro.
Hello, Andy. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you. And you're coming all the way from Brazil, so I honestly appreciate your time. I know you're very busy and worlds away, so let's just hop in and talk about what exactly is biogas.
Biogas, the technical definition, everything that rots or smells a little bit produces, has the capacity to produce biogas. So, no, at the end of the day, biogas is through a biological process, the biodigesting or decomposing of the organic matter without the presence of oxygen, and then you produce a mixture of CO2 and CH4 that is the same molecule present in the natural gas. So exactly the same one. So
interesting. And this is used as a fuel. So when you and I originally spoke, I was unaware that in Brazil you guys use this for fuel in your cars that you blend with petroleum to a way, it's a way to basically use a natural resource.
yes, for sure. This is a total renewable fuel, advanced biofuel. Also, I think that in the US, it's starting to get promoted as an advanced biofuel because it's exactly the same. We use mainly waste and cellulosic materials. So pretty fancy drop-in fuel, uh, and makes life much easier from the public policy point of view because it's chemically the same. I
Yeah.
mean, if you drop in ethanol into gasoline, for instance, uh, like we have in Brazil, you have the same capacity, but it's not exactly the same molecule, so it makes things a little bit harder. Or biodiesel into diesel. So and biogas, you can go whatever you want from uh, biogas from 0% to 100%, and no changes in the use of the fuel.
Oh, and one of the things, I'm all about freedom of choice, being able to choose the fuel you want, the energy you want. I'm a big proponent of all forms of energy with the exception of petroleum, obviously. But one thing I loved about our conversation is people can choose the blend they want depending on cost. So how much it costs the consumer to pump their gas full of their car full of gas, but also what's available. So as the agricultural season develops and there's that agricultural waste that is turned into biofuel, you can choose. You have complete freedom of choice.
Exactly. And also as biogas and also as ethanol. This is the way. And Brazil has a big agricultural potential, like the U.S. Also, the sugar cane is very important here. So, and to produce sugar here in Brazil, you have a lot of leftovers like leaves and other wastes that you have in surplus. So yeah, we are extremely excited with everything that's happening right now in the US.
One of the things that I personally just recently learned about, I'm a little slow on the agricultural side, I'll fully admit, but biochar is becoming popular again. Is that getting popular in Brazil?
I think that the organic development or structuring of soils is becoming very fancy again. I mean, very popular. People are seeing how important it is to have a live soil with bacteria, with microorganisms
Yeah.
interacting, and how this is important in the long run. How healthy your soil is at the end of the day for productivity gains. And of course, especially in tropical soils, this makes a big impact. So yeah, we are using organic compounds, not necessarily biochar, but yeah, the same. Actually, it's for the same purpose,
Okay.
not just so processed as biochar, but for sure with the idea of stabilizing it with organic carbon.
Yeah, it becomes a nice carbon sink as well for carbon sequestration,
Exactly.
which that, I mean, so many people don't understand how these are all connected. Everything reacts to everything else. It's a chain reaction. So having this agriculture waste and being able to use it rather than letting it sit and rot in a landfill is extremely important. And using every little bit to build
Yeah,
on renewable energy.
I think the world developed the most efficient way to for carbon capture, that is photosynthesis.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we want to do it in develop new ways and so on, but last 8 billion years, I think that evolution has been very efficient in improving the process, especially for photosynthesis, and it is a great way to carbon capture. And so, the more good agriculture we do, the more carbon we capture.
Yeah, and also talking about fertilizer and healthy soils, most people don't realize that the commercial grade fertilizer we use is not really great for soil health. Using these organic compounds and organic waste is actually better. So what you guys are doing is you're further helping healthy soils, healthy environment, the ethanol, the biogas. But moving back towards biogas, what we know we can use it in vehicles and cars. What developments are you guys also doing? And what can we learn, being an American? What can we learn from you guys?
Um, I mean, uh, we came. I think that the great thing about biogas is that it's a great fuel to decarbonize everything that's hard to decarbonize only with electricity and battery. And electric vehicles and battery vehicles are something else. I think that electric, everyone is going to become batteries as long as we take a look from till the grave, no? From cradle to grave. I think
Yeah.
that always we should take a look at the life cycle analysis of each fuel to really be sure how the whole life of the usage of this fuel, uh, and so that we can avoid public policies maybe that on the long run are not as good or as special as you thought. So what we're doing here in Brazil is we are sure that the biogas can decarbonize heavy-duty transport, can help decarbonize shipping, can help
Ah,
decarbonize steel production, cement production,
yes.
because this is all process that already use natural gas and can use natural gas, and really we can use the same technology and the same processes to produce uh, uh, renewable fuels. This is the vision and the implementation of what we're doing here in Brazil right now is really using biogas to work on those tough subjects that go a little bit farther than light. I mean, light vehicles are part of the problem, but they're not the only problem of the
Yeah.
emissions. I mean, we have huge problems somewhere else that we need to address, and chemical
And
industry,
oh,
like I
and
said,
I love the fact you brought up the construction industry because most people don't realize the heavy carbon footprint that construction has. So the steel manufacturing, the concrete, cement manufacturing, those
yeah,
are all going,
just the steel is 9% of global emissions. So
wow,
it's it's pretty much, yeah.
wow,
So
I did not realize it was that high.
yeah, so we have and I'm convinced that biogas is part of the solution. I mean, the waste is already there.
Yeah.
Uh, Here in Brazil, we could produce only with existing waste more than 600,000 barrels of oil equivalent a day on existing waste that has no energetic use. And after biodigestion, we improve the organic compound that we bring back to the soil. So, I mean, it's really a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the full circular economy there. You're not just
Exactly.
looking cradle to grave, but cradle back to cradle, reusing, repurposing, recycling, which is important. And we all need to start rethinking our energy, rethinking how we get our energy and what we use it for, and efficiency. Um, And I wish we had. I'm trying to think of like, we need more of that, and I don't know how we can get there. I mean, other than people like you who are experts, how can we be more progressive moving forward?
I think we need to learn from from projects that are being developed that are being a success story. I love you reaching out to me. I think that although there is internet and all of this and home office, but we still do not communicate much local stories over the border. I think this needs to become uh, more common.
I agree.
I think we need public policies that do not elect champions. I think that it's very important to do public policies that allow users or the technologies to compete and inducing efficiency.
Yeah.
I think this is extremely important. Um, because sometimes you use public policies that from start on they already decide who the winner is going to be, and sometimes if it's not the most efficient, and someday many years ago I learned that the energetic efficiency will always prevail. It might take a while or a long while, but it should prevail. So
It should. And
yeah, so,
one thing that you had mentioned before, and just to revisit, I'm a huge fan of green hydrogen. I have no shame in that. I love green hydrogen. I love the applicability, but you say that you can use biogas as a source to generate green hydrogen.
that's what this is the wonderful part now, that using the existing infrastructure, 95% of today's hydrogen, gray hydrogen, is produced with natural gas. So I can use the same infrastructure, or we can
Yep.
use the same infrastructure, drop in biogas, and produce at the end of the day green hydrogen when you use biogas using the same infrastructure. So this can accelerate very at my company we call this net zero, but now, because really we can use existing technology, existing infrastructure to produce this. And of course, biogas is CH4, so you have two hydrogens for each carbon. So it's the best relationship of hydrogen to carbon. So you really can. It's a great energy carrier. It's a great hydrogen carrier, natural gas.
Oh,
So
great.
you could transport through bio LNG, for instance, uh, biogas into the US and produce hydrogen locally. So, because this is a big for green hydrogen, it's kind of windy right now here. Sorry, guys.
It looks beautiful though. I'm looking behind you and I'm a little jealous.
Sorry. I love sitting outside and with Corona and so on. Yeah, so uh, really with biogas, we solved the hydrogen problem and we also solved the energy carrier problem. I mean, there's a lot of discussion how we're going to carry this hydrogen. There's a lot of talk about ammonia. There's a lot of talk about the methanol. We love all these solutions, but there is already a global infrastructure for LNG. So why not use the same infrastructure for bio LNG?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think this is, and so maybe the third point that not just information, but I think the solution is worldwide. Now we need to interconnect globally, uh, interconnect what each country, each state does best,
Yes.
and to really integrate these solutions so that we can be as efficient as possible. We cannot, with something like that, and the big challenge we have till 2050. I mean, everyone talks 2050, but it's already 28 years away. So
Yeah.
it
It's
used
happening
to
fast.
be long, but 2050 is already there. So we really need the best of each country and the best with their local differences and advantages, and take the best of every one of them and integrate the solutions.
I love the fact that you mentioned that we need to start working together, regardless of borders, regardless of state. We're all in this together. And knowledge bases, whether it comes from Brazil or whether it comes from Denmark, whether it comes from the US, we're all heading in the same direction. We do need to do more communication, more education, more outreach, and more collaboration. I mean, you've got a ton of knowledge in your head that is extraordinarily valuable and should be used across the nations.
Yeah, I think this, but this is improving, but I really think not just knowledge, but I think that the solution. If everyone does their best part and their excellency at that what they're doing, and I think we'll get there, for sure. But really need to integrate. I think this is.
We do.
We cannot look at each one look at their own piece of the pie. How is the saying? Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So,
we're all in the same piece of pie. We're all in this together, and I honestly feel very fortunate that, well, one, having the video communications that we can have, I can now talk to people worldwide. So I myself have learned a ton in the past 2 years, but also the integration of everybody collaborating together and talking with each other, meeting like-minded people. I really feel that we're making progress.
I think so too. I think we're becoming a better society for sure.
I agree. And this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much. Would you like to tell people how they can find you in case they want to pick your brain or hire you?
Yeah. I'm Alessandro Gardemann. I'm the current president of the Brazilian Biogas Association, but I am also the founder of a company called GEO, G-E-O, Biogas and Tech. So this is alessandro.gardemann@geobiogas.tech. So please reach out whenever you want. It's a pleasure, and any doubts, and I'll send you also my info if anyone wants to connect.
Perfect, and I will definitely include it so people can just copy paste, because that's what the world is nowadays, copy paste. So thank you. Enjoy your day. It looks absolutely gorgeous where you are. I'm extraordinarily jealous, but we will see you guys again soon. Take care.
Wonderful, Wendy. Thank you very much. You have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.